Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the live. I am right on time today, y'all. Well, kind of. I think I did move it earlier from 2 to 2:45, but welcome to the live. Today, I'm going to be talking about self-trust. And for those of you who are scared to start, for those of you who are scared to fail, for those of you who don't trust yourself, this live is for you. I'm going to be doing a series about this as well on my podcast. So if you haven't checked out the Fit Figure Formula podcast, definitely go show me some love on the podcast. So reviews and 5-star ratings really help. So Apple Podcasts is like the number one podcast station. We can kind of see like analytics from the people who watch our podcast. So if you're on Apple Podcasts, I believe you can actually write a review. On Spotify, you can leave a really quick 5 stars. I'd really, really appreciate it, y'all. So if you have not already, make sure that you listen to the podcast, rate it, give me a review, and also share the podcast. You can share it pretty easily from whatever platform that you're listening to as well. So if you're watching the replay, you can hashtag replay in the comments and let me know that you're watching. If you're watching live, say hello as well. I'm going to be talking about self-trust. I'm scared I won't succeed, so I just won't start at all. And again, if you struggle with this, I'm going to give you some tips on how you can recognize if this is what's happening, and then some tips on what to do to start rebuilding your trust. So first, I want to know if you watch this on the replay or live, would you say that you trust yourself? I want you to rate on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 is 100%. I got my own back. Like, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm committed to doing it. I keep my word, even to myself. In my health journey, I trust myself. If you're a 10, put a 10. A 1 is like, I don't trust that girl. I don't even know her like that. I don't trust myself at all. I've tried stuff and then I fail, and then now I just don't try because I don't think I'm going to follow through. So 1 to 10. So if you're on that spectrum, you can type that in. If you're watching the replay or if you are watching live, where are you on your level of self-trust? Because something really interesting happened. Well, actually, this came from, I did a survey. So the Fit Figure Formula group program launched in January for this new cohort, for this first cohort of 2024. And I did a survey after that to see, okay, if you watched me promo and all the things and then you decided not to join, I was just curious because that's why I think I would say I'm a really great coach, because I'm naturally inquisitive. I want to know why. Why didn't you sign up? If you have this problem and I'm saying, hey, I can fix it, and you're in my community, I wonder what it is that I'm not saying or communicating well enough to like bring you in to at least book a call and let's talk about it. And so a lot of you filled out the survey, which I actually was kind of shocked. I was like, oh, they filled out the survey. Okay. Because sometimes you don't know if people are actually watching, if the algorithm is showing y'all the post, whatever. And a lot of you said, I saw it. I think you're great. I think you're doing great. It's so informative. It's been really helpful. But I just don't know that I'm going to follow through. And more than one of you said that, like multiple people. And actually, if I haven't already announced this, Stephanie Stevenson, I believe, and Ashley Smith are the 2 people that I picked who filled out the survey to get a one-on-one call. And those ladies will be getting a free nutrition consult because they filled out the survey. So thank you, ladies, for giving me your feedback, and to everyone else also who filled out the survey. So this is kind of like the reason why I am really going to be focusing on self-trust, even in my program, because I just got off a call with one of my clients, and there's the way she's talking about her emotional eating and her little snacks that she gets. It's still, I can tell there's no trust there. I don't trust myself. I know I'm going to go off the handle. That's not trusting yourself, right? So this is a huge issue for you guys, and I want to help you overcome it little bit by little bit. You don't have to overcome it 100% next day and never struggle with it again. And I think sometimes we think that and we make it mean that I'll never do it. Because I couldn't do it today, that means I'll never do it. And I want to help you break that cycle because that's not true. So, one last thing before I get into it is I am going to be doing a free nutrition consult. I'm going to be picking one person every single month to do a free consult. All you have to do is go to my page, go to my profile page, and pick a post that you like that either has a photo or a video and share it. You can say something about it or not, but the more that you do that, the more opportunity you will have to win a free nutrition consult. So all you gotta do is go to my page and share my post. Any post that you think is helpful, funny, whatever, informative, whatever. So make sure that it would be cool if you tagged me in it, because sometimes when people share stuff, I can't see who did it. So tag me in the post, even if you just like at my name, and then make sure that your post is public, because if it's just friends, then our mutual friends are the only ones that get to see it. So make sure that it's a public post. So change the privacy settings for that particular post. And I'll be picking one person every month. So this is March 5th. The more that you share, the more opportunity that you'll have to actually get that free nutrition consult. Yeah. So let me get into the live today. Remember to put 1 to 10. Where are you at on your trust spectrum? 10 is I trust myself completely. 1 is I don't really trust myself at all. So I'm going to be talking about the signs that you are letting fear of the future rob you of taking action today. I'm going to be talking about how to get unstuck and how to take the first step, and then how to start building trust with yourself. So one of the first telltale signs with female perfectionists that you are not trusting yourself is you're procrastinating. And procrastinating typically doesn't look like, oh, I'm going to procrastinate. It looks like you're researching lots of diets, you're following lots of people online, and you haven't taken action yet because you want to know the right first step. You want to know A to Z, the entire process. And this is our brain's way of productively procrastinating, but what you're really doing is avoiding doing the work that's needed, because I really don't trust myself that I'm going to finish. So why even start? Why even start doing things that I really don't want to do? Because I know it's not going to work out. So I'm going to be wasting my time now and later. So I just won't start at all, right? And we're productively procrastinating by researching. Another way this looks like is through perfectionism. So if it doesn't look like this, then I'll have to wait until it looks exactly how I anticipated it. Or I can't do anything else until I know A through Z, so I won't even get started. Okay, this is perfectionism. Anything less than perfect, anything less than my first expectation is failure. And I don't want to fail, so then I just won't start. And this came up in a coaching call last night. So in the Fit Figure formula, we are in week 5. And we had a call last night and we were talking about self-sabotage. And one of the clients was explaining how she was having some resistance to moving throughout the week because she wanted to get her steps in, but riding her Peloton bike doesn't get her steps. So she felt like, well, if I don't get my steps in, then if I'm getting on my bike, it doesn't count towards my steps. Even though I've told them like it's just 30 minutes of any kind of movement, walking, riding a bike, washing your car, like whatever, intentional movement. But she's thinking in her brain, it's not going to give me my steps. And then my steps are going to be low, but I did my bike, but it's not going to count. It feels like it doesn't count. And I'm like, oh, this is perfectionism. It doesn't look like a walk where I'm getting steps. So I'm not going to move at all because it's not a walk, right? And do you see how this is such self-sabotage? Like when you say it out loud, it sounds like, well, yeah, but this is what we do in real time and we don't catch ourselves, okay? And I'm going to tell you something that we did that I thought was really, really good, that we decided on to help her fix this, okay? So I won't forget that. I'm going to come back to that. So we're talking about procrastination. So we're researching and procrastinating. We are operating in perfectionism, which is procrastination and self-sabotage. It also can sound like I'm going on vacation, so I'll start when I get back, right? Or the kids are going back to school, so let me get them like settled, let me get their school clothes, let me like wrap this up and then I'll start. Or I've had clients before who like didn't have a job and they're like, well, let me just like, find a job. Let me find a job. Like all my stress and my energy is like worried about finding this job and then I'll do it. But then they get the job and the job itself is stressful. And they're like, well, let me just, get over my newness of the job is stressful. It'll calm down later. And it's like, we're always kicking the can down the road instead of getting started with whatever I can do right now, which can be the smallest step ever. It can be a micro step. But when we don't trust ourselves to finish, we will make up all kinds of reasons of why we can't even get started. Right? Is this making sense? Y'all let me know if this is making sense. If this is resonating with anyone, let me know. If this is you, let me know. So it can look like procrastination, right? And I've had clients. I have a client right now who's in Thailand, I believe. And when we talked on the sales call, she said, I'm going to be going out of town. Is that going to be a problem? And I'm like, no. I would rather support you during the busy times of your life, during times where you're actually living your normal, regular life, and we can figure out how to also like travel and have fun and take care of yourself at the same time. The two things are not mutually exclusive, right? So she's on vacation right now. She's been doing great. She hasn't come to many of the calls even when she was here, but she's still active in our community app. She's still losing weight. Like she's doing the thing. And I'm like, wow, a vacation, your kids going back to school, you starting a new job. None of that is more important than you taking care of your health at any given point. So sometimes when we are fearful that we won't reach our goal and we don't want to fail, we will procrastinate, we will research, we will operate in perfectionism. We'll try to wait until certain life circumstances are over before we get started, because God forbid we start and get started a little bit before we know and can see the exact end, right? So how this shows up also is, oh, sorry, who's calling me? The 325 number. How this also shows up is I'm inconsistent. I don't want to start because I'm inconsistent, right? And it's like, if you don't start because you won't finish, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're doing because you believe that you won't finish because you won't start. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy in this battle in your mind. But my question to you is, how long are you going to let that be the excuse of why you're not going to try? How long are you going to allow that to be the excuse of why you can't get started? Like, think about that. If now's not a good time, and now is the only time we ever have, because the past is the past and the future is really fake, and all we have is right now. If right now is never good enough, you'll never restart or never start. And sometimes when you guys are starting, you're starting kind of halfway. You're just kind of like, okay, right? You might get a little bit of motivation or whatever, and you start, but you haven't really committed to starting in your mind because of fear. Okay. It also might sound like, I don't want to waste my time, or I don't want to waste my money. Right? When really, how could improving your health ever be a waste of time? How could attempting to improve your health ever be a waste of time? Right? If I told you that you could live 6 months longer, but you'd have to give me $10,000, would you not figure out how to give me $10,000? You'd probably figure that out, one way or the other, just for 6 more months, right? So it's never a waste of time, and it's never a waste of money. You're probably actually not going to be wasting your time. You're probably going to be extending your time. Even if you're trying and sometimes it doesn't work out the way that you thought, but at least you keep getting back up. That's going to extend your time, extend your life, versus wasting time. You're wasting time by not fixing your A1C, your cholesterol, getting to a healthy weight so that you feel mobile. That's what's wasting your time. But we will allow our brain to tell us that we don't need to start because we don't know if we will finish. And that is such self-sabotage. So what can you do if you are in this cycle where you see that there's a need to change, but you're stuck and you're fearful that you don't trust yourself, you may not finish, and you're procrastinating, and you're operating in perfectionism, and you won't start because you feel like you're inconsistent, and you feel like, I don't want to waste my money, I don't want to waste my time. I really want you to take one of these few tips, and I want you to try it out. So one is staying present. I do not want you to allow your brain to go into the future and make up a complete story about how you're not going to finish. I just talked to my one-on-one client today, one of my one-on-one clients. And we were talking about, she said, I know myself, when it comes to the cravings, I know myself. If I have it today, I'm going to have it tomorrow, I'm going to have it the next day. And I'm like, well, why do you say that? Because you already pre-decided that that's what's going to happen because you say, I know myself. What I want you to do is just kind of like give yourself a clean slate every single day and stay present in this moment. And some of the things that you can ask yourself is my goal of being healthier, lowering my A1C, getting to a healthy weight, being disease-free, is that important to me right now? If the answer is yes, then all you really need is that one commitment to yourself today. You are waiting until you feel committed to the journey every single solitary day going forward, when that's not even necessary. All I need to ask myself is, am I committed to my goal today? Is this something that I desire today? Yes. That thought will ground you and help you to make great decisions today, right now. And that's all you have anyway. So I want you to practice staying present. Your brain is going to want to go off into the future and make up this story about how you're not going to be able to do it. I want you to think about your brain and your thoughts, those little thoughts like little squirrels. Have you ever just sat and watched the squirrels play? It's just the little squirrel thoughts playing. Let it be over there and you stay with you right here. Ask yourself, do I want this goal? Is this still a desire? Is it still really important to me to be 30, 40, 50, 60 and still be healthy and not on medication and mobile? Is that still really important to me? Yeah. Okay. Can I commit to doing something small as evidence for my brain that I can do this today? Yeah, I can. That's it. Like, that is all you need. You do not need commitment for the next 100 days. You just need to stay in this moment and stay present and remember why it's important to you right now. And that's it. Right? Number 2, you can start talking yourself into it. We talk ourselves out of stuff all the time. You're talking yourself out of coaching. You're talking yourself out of, joining the gym. You're talking yourself out of taking your walk. You're negotiating with yourself in the bed when the alarm goes off in the morning. You talk yourself out of stuff all the time. Try talking yourself into something. Have you tried that before? Have you ever tried to talk yourself into something that you know is what you want most? Or are you constantly allowing the 1.0 version of yourself to talk you out of what you want most? And then you feel bad, then you feel guilty. You're just like, man, I knew I should have got up this morning. I always feel better after I get up and I get my workout done in the morning. And today I had the chance to, and I didn't do it. And how is that parallel to what I hope none of us have to say to ourselves later in life, that I had the opportunity to make a lifestyle change. I had the opportunity, but I talked myself out of it. But I negotiated myself out of it. But I procrastinated myself out of it. And then you get to this point where there are real health consequences, right? And I don't know why we be surprised at the end, and it's just like, for sure, if your blood sugar is out of whack and your cholesterol is crazy and, your mobility is being hampered because of your size, and you're not able to be mobile, it's a predictable end. Right? Like, we don't have to die earlier than we need to. Like, there are things that are in our control. So the things that are in our control, why don't we just control those? Why don't we just remember that, like, this is really important over anything else? I put this post the other day about, like, your health is your main job. Everything else is a side hustle. I don't want you to get to the point where you're like, I should have, woulda, coulda. And then after there are certain health consequences, it's a little bit hard to reverse, right? Like, there are certain things that, yes, you can reverse, but I don't want you to have to get to that point. I don't want it to have to be that painful for you to actually experience something or get a diagnosis and then be like, okay, let me get my stuff together. Don't wait. Like, why are we waiting? Right? So I want you to start talking yourself into it, which means I have to know what are the sentences that are going to help me talk myself into it. Like, what do I need to remember that's going to help me? Maybe it's my painful why of how I want to be mobile, how I don't want to be on medication, how I want to feel safe and not just have to have a bottle of insulin around or else something bad's going to happen. How can I talk myself into going and taking my walk, thinking about how great I'm going to feel, how awesome it feels outside. Our weather right now is gorgeous, and how good I'm going to feel afterwards. And spend more of your brain energy in the pleasure part of what you're going to get when you do it and how it's going to make you feel like your CEO self when you do actually do it, right? So some of us, our pleasure why will help us to get moving. Some of us, our painful why gets us moving. Like, I don't want to be on medication. I don't want to be huffing and puffing. I want to be able to play with my kids and not have to sit out when they go to the amusement park and I can't walk around. I got to sit down and my family is like playing at the amusement park, right? So to really start talking yourself into it. Hype yourself up. Whatever you got to do. Put on music. Put on one of my podcasts. I don't know if that would help you or not, but whatever it is that you need to do to talk yourself into it, hype yourself up. Okay, so hype yourself up. Stay present. Focus on the outcome of how you will feel when you accomplish the goal, and start acting as if you are already there, and start feeling how it would feel to already be there. Okay? Then number 4 is calming your nervous system. So some of us really have some low self-esteem when it comes to like whether or not you can really do this or not. And our nervous system gets triggered when we are in fear. And sometimes it's really about the staying present helps, but just noticing and like kind of like doing a body scan, like where am I feeling a lot of anxiety when it comes to me deciding, hey, do I want to reach out and get help with this? Or I'm feeling some resistance with reaching out for help or getting started, and why is that? Right? And maybe journaling that out. Asking yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I tried again? What's the worst that could happen? Journal that out. What's the best thing that could happen if I tried again? Journal that out. Spend some time there thinking about what's the best that could happen if you try again, and really focus on mindset, identity, setting boundaries, increasing your self-trust. Right? What's the best that could happen? Really thinking about what do I need to think and feel for me to be calm and make this decision from a really grounded place and not from a fearful place, right? So calming your nervous system and just noticing, where am I feeling anxious? Why am I feeling anxious? Why am I feeling resistance? And really working through that so that you can take that first step. Again, do not let your brain go too far in the future saying that, hey, I'm going to fail with this. Ask yourself, today, is my goal important to me? Yes. Okay, if it's important to me today, what would be something that I could do to take that next step today? And let tomorrow worry about tomorrow. Okay? You can also couple your action with something positive or a reward. So I mentioned this earlier. I had a client who was resisting getting on her bike because she wasn't going to get any steps. And I don't care how you move in our 30 minutes of like intentional movement outside of your workout. I just want you to move. So what we kind of coupled this with is like, I said, go on a gratitude ride. Because in the past she had an injury and wasn't able to like be mobile. I think she had either surgery or a car accident or something like that. And I was like, when you were unable to do this, right? It's really painful when you want to get up and you want to be moving around and you can't. So what if you coupled your action with intentional gratitude? So this is a technique that you can use with anything. So whatever you're resisting, whether it's reaching out to get coaching, whether it's getting started in your health journey, I want you to couple it with something that is pleasurable. So you could couple it with an emotion, right? So maybe reaching out to book a call to see how I can help you is an act of utter love. Like your intention is self-love to reach out and book your call. Or it could be something like you're going on a walk and you're going on a rage walk, right? Just coupling that emotion with an action step helps in some way. So maybe you're pissed off and you need to go on a walk. Maybe you want to show yourself utter love and you want to book the call. Maybe you want to show gratitude and really fall into gratitude, so you go on the bike ride, right? Coupling what you want to do with an emotion. You're meal prepping, and maybe you are doing that in the spirit of, what emotion could you attach. If I was going to meal prep and I was resisting it and I wanted to couple it with an emotion, meal prepping and nourishing my body would make me feel, I don't want to say love again, but love is what's coming up, or comforted, or well taken care of. It feels like self-care to me, to like on purpose make something that's nourishing to my body. Kind of like if you cook for your child and they're sick, right? And you go in there and you're like either making the soup or whatever you're making, and you're doing it out of like, here, this is going to make you feel better, right? And just coupling what you want to do with an emotion. Now, it doesn't have to be an emotion. It could be you're coupling what you want to do, the habit that you want to do, with music. You're coupling it with a podcast. You're going to go on a walk and you're going to listen to one of your favorite shows, right? So coupling it with what you want to do. And this is just to help you get started, right? This helps you get started so that you can see, and you're building this evidence that, oh, I can get started. Because I promise you, once you get started, at some point, yeah, you may quote unquote fall off, but it doesn't matter. The falling off doesn't matter. And this is what y'all don't get. The falling off don't matter. How quickly can I get back up? It doesn't matter if I eat great for a whole week and then 3 days go by and I'm like, I eat like crap. Doesn't matter. That fourth day, okay, I'm back. How can I make that next time? 3 days. How can I make that next time? 2 days. Right? It's not about not falling off. It's not about perfectionism. You guys literally want yourself to be perfect. I asked one of my clients this today. I was like, well, what's going to have to happen for you to stop telling yourself that you're not in control of your cravings or that you're not consistent with planning? Because she's been planning. She's been planning week after week, day after day. You're planning. But she keeps saying, I'm not a good planner. And I'm like, but you're planning every day. So why do you keep, we can let that story go that you're not a planner. You're planning. Even if you don't love to plan, you're planning. So I can let go of the story that I'm not a planner. Right? We are letting our past influence how we think about our future. And it doesn't have to be that way. Okay? So when you get started by coupling it with an emotion, with something pleasurable like music, a show, a podcast, whatever, I want you to just keep using that little hack to get yourself motivated. It's almost like if you're starting a car that keeps dying. Example, I have a car the key, for whatever reason, it won't start, but the key fob, I have to stick it in this hole in my console and then it'll start. So I've just been doing that for the longest time and it works every time. So I need to get my car fixed, but it's been working. So in your life, keep sticking the key fob in the hole over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And guess what you create? Consistency. Guess what you'll create? Self-trust. If you allow yourself to let go of the story that you're not consistent, you'll create the self-trust. Y'all, let me know if this is making sense. Let me know if this is making sense. I go into my analogies. I'm just like my mother with these analogies, and sometimes I be going off a deep end. So if you're watching the replay, let me know. Is this making sense? I hope so. So you can start talking yourself into your goal or your habit. You can stay present. You can focus on the outcome and how you're going to feel. You can calm your nervous system and really journal and figure out what is this resistance that you're holding in your body. You can couple it with something that is positive or rewarding. And you can allow yourself permission to take the smallest micro step and create evidence. Okay? So if I needed to make a case for myself that I could trust myself, what would I do first? Every day, ask yourself that. All you need is a little window of opportunity. All you need is a little sliver of evidence. You don't need, a big giant stack of evidence. I just need a little bit of evidence, because I'm going to focus my brain on this little bit of evidence that I can be consistent. And the more that I focus on that, the more I'm building more and more evidence over time. And then I will have a large sum of evidence to show that I can be consistent, that I can confide in myself, that is going to increase my confidence in myself, that I don't have to be scared of not finishing. So why don't I just not start at all? And that's going to ensure that I don't finish. Okay, so I want you all to take one of those tips and implement that today. If you know that you've been struggling and you've been having the same goal year after year, over and over again, you're trying to lose this weight, and you've been thinking about signing up for one-on-one coaching, which is what is open right now. You've been thinking about reaching out. You've been thinking about booking a call. You've been thinking about, reaching out, but you haven't yet. Or maybe you did reach out, and maybe we did have a sales call and you decided not to. You can still book another call. One-on-one coaching is open. I want you guys to really trust yourself. And right now, you don't have to trust yourself from A to Z. You just have to ask yourself, is what I want and desire right now really important to me? Could I commit today? Could I commit right now to taking an action step? That's all you need. That's the crack. That's the little sliver of evidence that you need. That's it. So book your call for one-on-one coaching, y'all. I have 2 clients, I believe, that are ending their 16 weeks. So I have some spots available for one-on-one coaching, which is my most supportive way to get coaching. We coach every single week. I'll be in your back pocket every single day. You're going to learn how to support yourself, how to be your own coaching and accountability partner. I actually have 2 ways to work with me one-on-one now. If you're curious about what that looks like, make sure you DM me and I will give you all the details, everything that you need to know in order to make a decision and to start that self-trust. But if you don't do this from the inside, it'll just be another diet. And if you don't know how to do it from the inside, that's okay. That's what I'm here for. Through coaching and through supporting you and being there for you and answering your questions and asking you really powerful questions that make you think, oh, I hadn't thought of it like that before. And then we go practice that. After 16 weeks, you have learned so much. You have done so much in little bite-sized steps. It is not overwhelming to work with me. Intentionally, I make it to where you take very small steps. And I work with you until you're really confident on getting to your goal. Okay? So, book the call. You can book a call with the link in the, it's a pinned link in the comments. If you are interested in coaching one-on-one, if you are curious about the additional way that I have set up for you to work with me one-on-one, if you know you need help, if you don't want to continue to try diets, if you don't want to continue to cut out carbs, intermittent fast, cut out breakfast, and you want to just live a lifestyle and be confident in yourself and increase that self-love, increase your self-discipline, increase your self-trust, this is the program for you. Okay, so make sure that you are applying to work with me one-on-one. Do not forget that if you are sharing my post, go to my page, share a public post with a video or a picture. And I'm picking one person every month to do a free nutrition consult. If you're looking for that transformation, though, you'll want to make sure that you apply for one-on-one coaching. So I hope this was helpful, you guys. I will see you soon. I'll see you on the next live, and have a good afternoon.